Hello, everybody, and welcome again to one of our videos. I'm Adina,
And I'm Andrea.
and we are answering to one of the questions addressed in one of the weekly Q&A that we have every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. UK time about the job and working in corporation and how to avoid burnout, where we give a lot of tools and tricks and tips. One of the questions we receive is from somebody working in HR who is struggling with the workload, with the continuously increased workload, and people not being kind with one another and understanding of the HR function. And this is a subject dear to my heart because I work in HR for more than 10 years, I would say, in different capacity. HR manager, HR BP, HR advisor, and everything else. And it's tricky. It's tricky because everybody thinks you're hiring and firing, but it's so much money in between, isn't it? Yes, you are dealing with job description, with posting, with having interviews, with helping manager having proper interviews, with hiring, with offering a good salary, a good compensation, but making sure it makes sense in the pay scale, in the budget, in everybody's world. Um, and then you have to make ensure all the papers and everything are done, and then you have all the life cycle of an employee. And as an HR, is the function that I think it's seen as whatever managers don't want to do, they throw it to HR. At least that is how it was for me. I loved it. I loved it because it was challenging, and I like challenges. It was challenging because always saw the HR function somewhere between the leadership and the employees. And you have to ask yourself, what do you represent? The employees, the company, the leaders? I think it's somewhere in between. Because you also need to ensure that all the laws and all the specific and the procedure are respected and followed, and that everybody is aware whatever is changing in the law and all that. And it also depends on the culture. I worked in multinational covering HR function on over 20 countries and understanding what's happening everywhere. It is different. Every country is different. But people react to people. People in general wants to be seen and heard even if you don't agree with their point of view. I think what they want is that. So starting from this point of view and building up from there, it's much easier. And there are so many successful stories where you save people jobs and mental well-being and everything. And I just think it's amazing. The workload, yes, it depends on the time. It can be higher, especially if you have people leaving or if you're hiring or if the company is increasing. Um, but there are periods of time and the people don't understand the HR function. What can you do about that? How can you make people understand what the HR is there for? Make a day where you tell them, explain. Our function is this, make a list. Explain what is not also. It's not a place where you come and you moan. It's not a place where you come and you tell gossip about that. It's a place where you come and you try to find solution because in human resources you have more experience in different subject, right? Um, so maybe organize as HR. You have the possibility to organize a day of the function, and you can rotate every week, every month, to have somebody explaining. Look what we're doing. Look how it's interacting with your part. HR is in the middle of everything. Or you can organize a day of kind of stands, and everybody goes and talk. You can make it fun. You can make it fun and explain how it is a day in somebody's in HR. You can do job shadowing. You can ask people to come. There are so many options to sell the function, or at least to show it. And the workload, I think it depends. Let's say it's a high workload. What do you do about it? Where is your limit? Do you stop? Do you think everything is your responsibility just because you're in HR? I can assure you it's not. I was in charge with hundreds of people and they were happening and there was across the globe different hours. I had a mobile from work, car, And initially, I felt like I'm at disposal of everybody, regardless of the hour they were calling from Argentina, from different parts of the world. And they were different. For them, it was their working day, but for me, it wasn't. So guess what I've done? I've explained my limits. As you have a schedule as a worker, I also have a schedule. I will answer during those times. If it's urgent, of course. Depends what urgency means, and I have to specify what emergency mean, and that depends for everybody. But I have some limits. I cannot do this all the time, and a lot of things can be explained through written messages, and you answer when you can. If you think it's so important, usually look at yourself and think, why do you think you're so important? Why do you think answering at whatever hour or doing, making everybody happy or answering to everything is so important during a day? You have a limited amount of time like everybody else. It's just another job in another area. Yes, it feels sometimes you're dealing with a very emergent situation, and sometimes it is because things happen, accidents and all that, and you need as an HR function to be the one dealing with everything. But these are periods. It's interesting to also know what are the periods in the year where you go up and down, up and down. When you go up, ask for help, ask for other people, maybe from other department, organize the workload in such a way that you have a part-time or you have somebody coming, graduate or whatever from another team to help. And you'll be surprised when you ask for help how many people will be interested because a lot of people like HR. They're curious to know how to work with other people. Sell it, make it fun. You'll be surprised. People will try to see, oh, let's see how it is. And one of the things we know, I know from my experience and also Andrea, a lot of people in HR are prone to burnout exactly because of this. It's one of the category with the highest risk of going into burnout because of the dedication, because they want to help everybody and they want to make everybody happy. Who is making themselves happy? How do you make yourself happy? Who is taking care of that? So set up limits, learn to say no, set up boundaries of the work, delegate to other people, hire more people if needed. If you have a budget restriction, find ways to limit your time and explain clearly to the director or to whoever is reporting the HR what are the possibility and how important it is to have somebody in an HR position who is balanced, who is objective all the time. We all know that in tribunals, the judge before lunch gives different decision than after lunch. So it's very important when your case is heard. Yeah, it's the same with HR. If I'm in a not nice mood, who knows what the way I'm going to reply and how that person is going to receive it. It's important HR to be the one balanced, to be the one equanimous in all that, not to take sides. That's not the point. It's the point is to see everybody and to try to find a way and to moderate conversation, to be the voice of reason there. Of course, with empathy, of course, with everything else, but the voice of reason in turbulence time. And if you are not the one leading by example, the company, what do you think others are going to do in other departments? Think about that. Andrea, what do you think?
Workload is different from function to function, and every function has an increase in workloads a lot of times. We've just done a video where we explain the nonsense, the concept of doing more with less, which is in work in a corporate environment is absolutely nonsense. We have a finite number of resources and a finite number of tasks that we can do. And time is also finite resources. So the math does not work. One very important aspect I would like to emphasize during intense workloads is your body signals. And because of the continuous workload, no matter how high it can be very high or it can be medium high, your body starts giving signals. Do you identify them? Do you hear that? Do you listen to that? One important technique I've learned, and it saved my life at a certain point when I was not sleeping and going there, was to discharge my body through tremoring, through somatic therapy called TRE, which allowed me to get the energy for a new day. So it's very important to listen to your body and as much as possible to discharge at the end of the day so you can recharge and start anew. That's very important for your well-being. Getting that balance back. How do you get that balance back? There are a lot of techniques. I use TRE and it saved my life. There are others. Another thing, people not being kind. In a stressful environment, the first thing that goes out the window is kindness because it's so easy to let go. And people are angry and pissed off and confused and anxious. And every bad thing that ever happened to them comes out to play. And it plays violently. So, how kind are you to yourself in this environment? And how much you take the energy of others onto you? Because in a stressful environment, everybody's stressed, so everybody contributes and the stress goes high, high, high. And where are we going? Into burnout. So how are you being kind to yourself? What tools are you using? What are you doing inside work, outside work to keep that kindness to yourself? And part of that kindness to yourself includes taking breaks, breathing, taking yourself out of conflicts for a time being so you can breathe and then go back with renewed energy. Keeping that clarity as much as possible. When you have a pile of work, and I'm going to give you my example, which I learned, it took me years to perfect, and now I have it down to an art. When I have a lot of things to do, well, really a lot, and I have a hectic program even now, and my mind cannot focus. You know the first thing I start with? A break. 5 minutes, or I go dance, or go outside and breathe, or I smell a flower, something to take my mind off whatever pile of things I'm doing. And when I come back, it's no more than 5 minutes, sometimes less. I immediately know which thing to start with because the confusion is gone. That edge is off, so I can focus differently. There are little tips and tricks that can help you throughout the day. Practice kindness to you first. Eating. Do you have a set eating break? It's important. Not in front of the laptop, not when people are bombarding you, not in the same atmosphere of stress. In your car. Outside, even if it rains. Taste the rain, feel the rain, smell the rain. It's coming back to your body and acknowledging, yes, I listen, I know you're stressed. I am very grateful for you. Let's do some more. And your body will listen. It always listens to you. And then in turn, it's an exchange. You promise to be kind to it and give it what it needs. Maybe it needs 10 minutes of dancing every night. Maybe it needs a massage. Maybe it needs some somatic therapies. Maybe it needs, I don't know, some aromatherapy. Maybe it needs a new perfume. It's your choice. So that's it for me. Hope it helps.
Yes, hope it helps. See you soon, and please subscribe to our channel. And if you want a more in-depth conversation or to teach you about all these tools that Andrea is mentioning and everything I went through, contact us. Bye.
Bye.